right, Pisces. So, we're going to read with these Outlander cards. If you did not see me unboxing these, I literally did an unboxing where I went through all of the cards. I love the way they shuffle. Oh my God. I went through all of the cards in this deck and kind of gave my firsthand intuitive interpretation of the cards. This is from our beloved show, the Outlander show, created from the book series, or adapted from the book series, written by Diana Gabaldon. And now there's the prequel, Blood of My Blood, which I have been forgetting to watch. Anyway, I didn't want to make that video too long, so if you want to look at the unboxing, it was pretty cool, especially if you like Outlander or the whole series. But we're going to do a reading. I hope you enjoyed your weekend. We're going to do a reading using these cards. And like I said in the unboxing video, this was made possible by all of you guys who donate and contribute to the channel. And most importantly, those of you guys who are members, right? Because I really appreciate those of you who donate. And it's really equal. No one is greater or less than the other. But members, they really keep a steady income of support coming in. And some of you guys donate consistently, so I appreciate that. There are a few of you, there's a few of you here and there who have come through the channel at different times and been very supportive. And I really appreciate that. And for those of you guys who booked readings, all of this time since this deck was brought up on my radar by one of you guys who commented, I've been working to save or be very conscious of how I spend my money, because there's very little that I can save, you guys. I'm just being honest. Most of the time, I'm not able to save anything because I'm in arrears. But I was able to have a little bit of a break with some things, and some different things came through to where I was able to use a portion of the donations that you guys made and my own investment to get this deck. And I just want to appreciate you guys. I know I said this in the unboxing, but I just want you guys to know, for any of you who didn't watch that I'm really grateful for all of you guys who support the channel. And even if you're not able to donate, because people, y'all comment sometimes about how you're not able to donate and how when you get it together, you'll donate. And it's I don't want to, minimize your commitment to supporting the channel, because I am grateful for that. But you don't have to say that type of stuff. You don't have to say that, because that's real. If you want to, I appreciate it. But you don't have to say that, because to be honest with you, sometimes it's a little bittersweet, because I know you guys appreciate what I do here. But when when you say that you're not able to donate, I don't want you to continue to speak that negativity. You know what I mean? I don't want you to continue to speak those types of sentiments over your life, right? And then number two, sometimes for me, people have said over the years, oh, I got you when things are good. But then folks disappear and they never come back, and they don't really got me. So I'd rather not hear the bullshit. You get what I'm saying? Anyway, it's more so just me not wanting you guys to perpetuate your own misery. But I want to appreciate you guys just by saying that. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to get into this and read. Like and subscribe to continue to catch the vibe. I hope your week starts off well. Members, we will be live tomorrow. I'm recording this on Saturday night. That means I'm making a commitment now to do our weekly reading, because it has been hard. It's been difficult for me to feel energetic and energized, I guess, enough to come on and do lives, because they are very draining. And I think either what I'm going to do is start to, not with the members, but when we do lives publicly, you guys, I'm really going to start only reading members' comments or super chats, because it just be too much. And I love you guys, but ciao. Anyway, let's get into it. Thank you for being here, Pisces. Like and subscribe to continue to catch the vibe. If you want to book a reading, donate, or do anything, everything you need to know is below in the description box, okay? Let me know if it's resonating in the comments. Let's go ahead and see guardian angels, archangels, spirit guides, and ancestors of the highest vibration, Father, Mother, God, for Pisces. What is the most important message that they need to know here on this Monday, start of the week? Ooh. Seer. We always get psychic cards, Pisces, don't we? The cards that represent psychic abilities, intuition. We always get those cards because that's who we are. And it's not all of who we are, but it's a major role to play. It has a major role to play in our lives. At the bottom, we have abyss. Ooh. And foolishness. Ooh, Pisces. So right off the bat, I haven't read any of these definitions or descriptions in the book. I just went through and unboxed the deck and gave intuitive breakdowns of what I was feeling looking at the cards firsthand. I don't know if I'm going to keep that public. Depending on what it does on the channel, I might make it members only. But anyway, straight off the bat, right off the bat, this abyss card is giving me the vibe of something kind of like being destroyed or being very hopeless, right? Warrior, abyss. So a warrior was fighting some type of war, or there was some type of fight that someone felt very strongly about. This warrior card reminds me of this deck right here. The card that's like about someone honorable. Can't remember what the name of it was. It was someone honorable. It's like honor your word, or not the shield maiden, because his sword is in between his face right there. It reminds me of, I'm going to get it. Y'all like the video, you guys. Like the video. Please, please, please. Please, please, please. Ooh. Okay. There it is. The knight. Doesn't that look similar? At least the way he's holding the sword. And it says, be brave and honest. We might use this deck at the end. But this reminds me of someone who is brave and honorable and courageous. And it's like, if you put up your sword, if you swear your fealty, your loyalty to a cause, it's like you're going to fight for that cause. But there are some times where no matter how loyal and courageous and brave and honorable you are, you still lose the battle. And it kind of gives me this vibe initially before I saw that warrior card. The abyss is like a battle that's been lost, right? Or some type of longing feeling, wishing that things would have been different, longing for a different set of circumstances, longing for a different outcome. Kind of a black hole type of energy that kind of sucks you dry, and you know, it's never ending. You'll never be able to get out of it. The swords in the ground definitely indicate, like, to me, either graves or some type of loss of a battle, right? And it's like hopelessness intuitively. So when I see this, it's like, because there's some type of hopelessness or emptiness that is being felt due to some type of loss, more than likely from a battle that was honorable, but that wasn't, you know, procuring of a victory. Because of that, there's some type of foolishness that could happen in the near future. And that's what you see. Like, you're the seer who can see where something is going. You're the person who can predict what might occur from this feeling of sadness, depression, hopelessness, loss, if people don't pay attention and if they continue to be foolish with their decisions. It's kind of like you see some type of foolish choices being made because of lower vibrational energy. What's after that? Helplessness. Yeah, being tied up. Excuse me. Something foolish could put a person in a position where they're very helpless, or where their hands are tied, or it's like once they make this decision, there's nothing you can do to help them, and there's barely anything that they can do to kind of help themselves. A very powerless feeling, or being powerless. This could even be you feeling powerless to stop whatever's going on, even though you see that that could be a possible outcome. Ooh, I don't know what this is necessarily. It could definitely be talking about just current events, but it could also be speaking about situations going on in your personal life with people who you love and care about, and wanting to do your best to help them not make foolish decisions, but also knowing that you can't really control anyone's behavior, right? So, abyss. Here it is. These are attributes. So the cards with the borders like this, with the seer, those, what are those? What are those? Portraits. Those are called portraits. And the cards that have kind of like this cloth book cover border, those are attributes. So abyss and foolishness are attributes. Abyss says Jamie after the Battle of Culloden, right? Where everybody was pretty much dead. Heartbreak, loss, and resilience. Okay. Out of darkness comes light. After the Battle of Culloden, Jamie lies in a heap of dead men, gravely wounded and ready to die, while his beloved and pregnant Claire is in another time. Yet he is spared and somehow finds the will to live. Wow. A fallen warrior. Some of you may have a fallen warrior that comes to you, or someone who you're meant to heal or help guide for some of you guys. But it is about resilience, because Jamie was on that battlefield. You may be seeing signs and synchronicities. Like this flower to me, when I was doing the unboxing, gave me hope in a situation. So that actually is very interesting, because that confirms that my intuition is actually on point, because I said that it's like a bunch of loss or sadness or like hopelessness, but then there's hope because the flowers, they're growing. And in the show, Jamie saw the rabbit, and the rabbit was there on the ground that he was looking at, and then he looked up and he saw like this materialization of Claire. And she was in this very pure white dress and walking towards him, and the snow was falling down or something like that. But he still had even though he wanted to lay there and die, and he kind of wallowed in his own self-pity after he was rescued, there's something inside of him that would not allow him to die on that battlefield. You get what I'm saying? Let's see what the seer says. The seer says, ooh, I love this deck, y'all. Okay, so I'm fangirling over the deck. Anyway, the seer says, Nyaween? I don't know who this is. Nyaween. Is that the Native American lady? I don't think so. Anyway, it says clarity, insight, inner life. The seer or high priestess embodies secret knowledge. Claire's mentor, Nyaween, helps others see through deceit and grasp the wisdom of the universe. Seeing through the darkness, kind of like they say deceit, but it kind of feels like, I think Nyaween was the Native American lady who mentored her in America after they went to America, and those people scalped her, and she buried her scalp because it was very hurtful to her and tragic for Claire because that was her mentor. But it says deceit. It kind of feels like whatever darkness comes from that feeling of, hopelessness or loss, the seer is able to give the secret knowledge. You see the moon is behind her. The braid. Okay. Something about braids. It just feels like there's some type of wisdom in having a braid. It's like the wisdom is locked in the wovenness of the braid. But helping others see through deceit or loss or sadness to grasp the wisdom of the universe, which is like the lesson or the bigger picture. What is it that you were meant to see or learn? What could you possibly not be calculating when it comes to this situation because of your blindness that comes from those feelings that you have that are very dark and low? The seer helps to alleviate that and find clarity. But then we have foolishness. Yeah. And helplessness is right there. Before we do that, let's look at the warrior. I just want to see real quick. The warrior, which is underneath Abyss, says Dougal McKenzie. Oh, that looks like the young version of him. Blood of my blood. Dougal McKenzie, sacrifice, support, protection. A strong man who defaults to fighting and physical conflict, often without considering consequences. Dougal McKenzie acts as his brother Column's sword. Yeah, it's like sworn. Taking an oath of fealty, an oath of loyalty, an oath of allegiance, but also being very reckless and seeing red, and then dealing with the loss of whatever you lose as a consequence to that attitude. It's like, yes, it's good to be courageous. Yes, it's good to be brave. Yes, it's good to stand up for yourself and the people who you love and defend those principles. But it can cause a lot of loss and grief and sadness that may be unnecessary if you were to try to consider a different way of handling the situation, okay? I feel like you guys can see that someone is going to make a foolish decision, but you're kind of powerless to stop it, or you arrive too late. But that's not a coincidence. You know what I mean? Because people have to go through their own situations, no matter how much you may want to protect someone or help someone or prevent someone's pain or sadness. You have to allow people to live their lives. You have to allow people to take the steps that they're meant to take. Because if you don't, that's a form of like control and manipulation that's very subtle, but it's just as potent as the abrasive, overt control and manipulation, right? So you have foolishness here. This is foolishness. 16-year-old Lord John tied to a tree. Yes, so this is John Gray when he was young, tied to that tree. I didn't even connect it. And John Gray was Jamie's very good friend. And there's a card in here which we discussed in the unboxing where it says friends. And it looks like this type of card. What is it called again? I'm learning, you guys. I'm trying to learn. The portraits. So there was a portrait that said friends. And it was a chessboard playing chess, not checkers. But it was dualistic. It was one side was day with Jamie's hand. And the pieces on the chessboard were black, but the background was light and it was illuminated by the sun. And then the other side, the underside, was Lord John Gray's hand. At least that's what I intuited from the card. But the pieces on the chessboard were white this time and the background was dark and it was like nighttime. So this is John Gray when he was younger. During the Battle of Culloden, when Jamie was in charge of his regimen, the young John Grey, which they grow to be friends in the future, but the young John Grey remembers Jamie all those years ago from the Battle of Culloden when he was young, because Jamie tied him to a tree instead of killing him because he was only a teenager. And he shouldn't have ever been there. You get what I'm saying? And Jamie was very honorable. And even though it was a very negative situation, he still acted with honor and class and grace. But John Grey got himself caught up in a bunch of mess because he got caught trying to spy on Jamie's camp where all his soldiers were, and pretty much got caught and thought that Claire was a captive, and he was basically honorable himself because he would rather them take him than to take Claire. But he was being foolish because he didn't know that Claire was there of her own volition, her own free will. Okay, so foolishness. 16-year-old Lord John tied to a tree. Careless, untamed, naive. Taking risks can lead to great success, but for young Lord John, it could also result in defeat and humiliation. And Lord John Grey didn't find out until years later that Claire was actually Jamie's wife, and she was an English woman married to this Scottish man who was a rebel against the crown. When he was a teenager and he was busting in there, he didn't know. So it's like he was kind of naive, and he was a little bit too big for his britches at the time. And maybe he was a little careless, but at the same time, even though it may have been a little humiliating, or because his family actually was very upset with him for that, because he came from a very high-born English family. But even though that may be the case, it's like the reason behind his decision, or to me, the intentions behind his decision were very honorable. There's also a communication barrier here, but I don't think it's very important, like a communication or a culture barrier, because the seer that was Claire's mentor here, what's her name? Niaween. She was a Native American, but Claire could understand her and she could understand Claire. And they taught each other different words. Like Claire taught her English, Niaween taught Claire Native American. And then Jamie and John Grey came from two different worlds, but they ended up being very good friends as well. I feel like this is also about friendship or connection in some way or another. Forming bonds of loyalty, because even though the warrior card was about Dougal, they discussed how Dougal swore his fealty to Colum, which is his brother, as the, war chieftain of the clan in Scotland, because Colum was disfigured and crippled at a young age. And in order for people to trust Colum to be a good laird, basically Dougal sacrificed his claim to the seat or to the position in order to be like a team with Colum due to his disability. So that's a level of loyalty and friendship and sacrifice as well. Interesting. Let's real quick. Okay. We're going to put the story together. You got to be patient over here, because it ain't going to be no half-ass shit. If I tell my kids not to do half-ass shit, I'm not going to do it either. Okay? Period. So, helplessness is the card that's behind foolishness. So, Abyss and Warrior are like coming into the current moment. What has led up to this current moment of the Seer card, and where will the Seer card take us is the back of the deck with foolishness. Okay? And that is helplessness. Spirituality. Interesting. So helplessness says Gayless and Claire tied up in a pit. Okay, I see it. Because they were accused of being witches. And when they sent Dougal and Jamie off, Colum didn't like Claire for a while. He didn't trust her. But he wasn't going to do her any harm, but he also wasn't going to help her. Excuse me. And Gayless was just really brazen about her witchcraft. And Claire got caught up because that little jealous girl who liked Jamie sent Claire a fake note that Gayless wanted to talk to her, and they both got locked up in the pit. Anyway, and they were tried for witches. And while they were waiting for their trial to complete, or while the court was going on, every night they had to be thrown in a pit. Anyway, helplessness, Gayless and Claire tied up in a pit. Lack of control, fear, inner critic. Outspoken Gayless and Claire are trapped and could be burned as witches if the local judges condemn them. The two feel trapped and without choices, but with ingenuity, a new answer can present itself. I'm also getting this vibe of like being tied up leg to leg with somebody. You know when they do sack races and stuff at carnivals and the 3-legged man race or something like that? It's like, yeah, you're tied up together, but you have to be creative and, you know, have ingenuity, have clever ideas as to how you can win the race. And it's also about teamwork. So there's something about like friendship, collaboration, teamwork, coming together, possibly compromising, making sacrifices, doing what's best for the greater good. But also there's this energy of like someone not understanding what that means or how to actually do that. Because if you think about the young Lord John Grey and Dougal Mackenzie, both of them were kind of reckless when it comes to the decisions that they made. It's like there's a need to be... Ooh, I know you lying. There's a need to be as one. Y'all like the video. There's a need to be a team. There's a need for people to work together. There's a need for us to understand that two heads are better than one, and that whatever situation that we're kind of in needs to be handled with care, and it needs to be handled with a level of cleverness, creativity, honor, respect, class. But it kind of feels like someone is not on the same page or on the same level of understanding of that. It kind of feels like you take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back because whoever's working with you is naive to what needs to be done. And you can tell that this is going to lead to some type of possibly negative outcome if whoever this person is does not see clearly. I think this deck is upright. Okay, good. It's kind of like if you're trying to be incognito, right? If you're trying not to be seen or heard, and someone is just being loud, it's like, shut up. Yeah. You know, like you don't understand, like you're ruining it for everybody. What is this? Okay. Thank you, Spirit, for those messages. Oh, I love these cards so much. Because I can clearly tell you guys the message because I know exactly what they're talking about. But even though the book has the definition, there's also other aspects of it that I can give you guys that help to clarify kind of different nuances. And I really love this deck. Oh my gosh. I'm such a nerd, you guys. And I don't have my jewelry on because I don't know where it is. Anyway. What is it that you want Pisces to know when it comes to this message, Spirit? So, Queen of Swords, very wise. Some of you have some strong air energy. Scorpio, Pisces, of course, possibly Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. Strong air energy. very much so wise, very much so intelligent, very much so experienced and skilled, because you have dealt with a lot of things that have shown you the way in certain situations, like the way. And it's very interesting. I don't see, and there's the Queen of Cups at the bottom. I knew it. I don't always notice this, but there's a cup of water or a bowl of water down here, I believe. And I don't often notice this, but sometimes I do, because a lot of times people hold cards like this and they don't even see that. But it's like you have emotion, you have feelings, obviously, because now we've looked at the bottom of the deck. I was going to say that anyway, but the Queen of Cups confirmed it. You have feelings, you have emotions, you have a connection to spirit that is formulated from the heart, but you also have this innate ability to theorize things from a very intelligent perspective, from a very cerebral, mental perspective. Yeah, it's like I have a heart, but with the Queen of Swords, it's like I'm only going to use it if it deserves to be used. I'm only going to take it out if it deserves to be taken out. Not if it, like you're critiquing yourself, but if the situation warrants me using my emotions, I have those emotions, but I'm going to be very critical to a certain degree, or very strategic and selective about where and when I allow for that emotion to shine through, because not everyone and everything deserves that experience. Oh my goodness, cards are just flying out, child. Hangman, Judgment, Scorpio, Pisces, I said that. Page of Swords and the Hierophant at the back of the deck. You're getting a feeling, and you know this feeling, and you're starting to be a little bit on edge, because whatever's going on is kind of like setting off these alarms or red flags in your mind about what could possibly be coming. I feel like you guys are going to realize something or see something from a different perspective. There could be a light bulb moment that happens here in the near future. There could also be like, it's like some type of consistency or commitment to what you're doing is allowing you to have these fresh new ideas. It's like your soul is awakened to these new perspectives. You could be learning as well. You could be researching or learning new perspectives. Some of you guys could be studying to be lawyers or have some type of degree in law and order. You could be studying case law. You could be studying like court cases and things that have happened in the past to help you understand what could happen in the future. I'm also getting history. Like with this Hierophant and the Page of Swords, it's like you studying what's happened in the past or how the trend has progressed from the past to now. Like, where have situations like this happened before? Where has there been some type of precedence that's been set on how this current situation will be played out, or how it will be decided upon? It's kind of like when a lawyer studies case law, they want to see what the right argument is or the right approach is to a situation by seeing if it's ever happened before. But I feel like you're going to realize that it hasn't actually happened before in the way that it's happening now. There may have been similar situations, and there may have been things that are close to what's happening now, but there hasn't ever been a time where this specific set of circumstances have lined up like this before. And it may make you feel kind of stuck and not really sure what to do. But Spirit is kind of, to me, saying that you guys have the ability to come up with an innovative, creative way to resolve whatever's going on, or to figure out some type of solution in the situation. I definitely feel like you guys are kind of in this energy of facts over feelings. People's feelings don't matter. It's the facts of the matter. It's the facts of a situation. But it's like you don't, it's like you don't lack the ability to understand feelings and have compassion or empathy, but you just know when it's appropriate and when it's not. What's this Queen of Swords? Ace of Cups. You're definitely sensing something that's coming. And you could be praying about, like, what's the right thing to do. Some of you guys have really cute gray hair, or something about gray hair. Okay? 8 of Pentacles. You definitely love your work. There's a desire to be committed to your work. You've been doing something for many moon cycles. Some of you guys may also see your cycle as a sign for feminine energies. If you get your period, you may see it as a sign, because maybe it doesn't come very often, or I don't know, maybe you've gone through menopause. I don't know. But there's something about, like, your cycle, your period, actually having some type of effect on the way you see a situation. I'm not trying to get graphic or, like, be too TMI, but I'm just being real. It's like, this could also be going through menopause. And it changes your perspective. There's something about the feminine energy that's seeing certain signs about what's going on or how they need to move forward in the situation, like, through those different occurrences. I feel like you guys are very consistent and committed to your work as well. Okay. August or Virgo season could have been very significant. Taurus, Libra energy is strong. Scorpio, Pisces. I feel like you guys are working on something that you love, or doing some type of work that you love, which makes it easy for you to commit to it. It makes the day go by a lot faster. You're very skilled at something that you do. You create quality work. I feel like you're in the zone as well. You're in the zone, whatever that means for you. Okay. You're working on something, or building something, or working towards something that you feel a strong emotional connection to. You feel like this is what you have to do to meet up with your higher self. And to basically be on that timeline. So you're committed to it. You know that this is what you need to do. You could also be getting some type of consistent, like, signs emotionally, or feelings. You could feel something consistently, like, this could be you working with an organization that you love, or a company that you love, or working for a cause that you're really passionate about. And it's like there's this replenishment of energy. Like, you never really get exhausted for long, because the work that you do kind of, like, recharges you. It's like you're learning how to trust your feelings as well as it relates to your intuition. Thank you. I feel like the fact that you're learning new things every day makes you really excited about where things are going to go, but it's like you don't want to rush it as well. What else is this Queen of Swords? I feel like you also say what's on your mind. What else is this Queen of Swords, Spirit? Because it's the truth. Page of Swords. Some of you have a child that you really love who's very intelligent. They're like a little version of you. This could be you as your younger self, but this could also be like a child who's just like you. Like maybe you have a daughter who's very similar to you that you're going to be training and teaching and nurturing. There definitely could be someone who is about to be your mentee, or you could be the mentee who's about to find a mentor. Someone is lost and searching for answers, and they're about to find you, and you're going to help teach them how to understand things that they don't understand, how to grasp concepts that they haven't had experience with yet. I feel like you're figuring out that this is what you're meant to do. I also feel like there's this familiarity that you guys could feel to learning new things. Like even though you're becoming aware of something new or becoming aware of a new experience, a new concept, or some type of history, it's like you've already been there. It's like you become aware of it and it's new to you, Page of Swords. But in reality, you feel Ace of Cups like you've already been there, done that, or know this information intrinsically, like within your soul. Some of you could be questioning your feelings or emotions because you're unsure of what certain information means, what certain synchronicities or confirmations are connected to, but it's like you know they're important. Two of Pentacles and the Six of Swords. I feel like you guys are trying to balance like what's really there in front of you and what you may feel in the hidden invisible realms. Because you guys have awareness of hidden invisible realms. And you really could be, I don't want to say struggling, but I feel like you're trying to find new ways to keep both of these worlds in balance. Because my dreams have been really vivid lately. And there was a point where I had vivid dreams. There's like cycles and stages that I go through where my dreams are like not really that vivid or I don't remember them. Sometimes I feel like I don't even have dreams. And then there's times where it's like my dreams are so fucking real. It's hard to reacclimate myself when I wake up. It kind of feels like you're trying to find a balance between the things that are visible and the things that are invisible, but that you know both of which are there. You could be contemplating how to resolve a situation or how to come to some type of resolution. You could be trying to figure out the best course of action when it comes to reaching a goal. This could also be someone who needs your help settling some type of confusion or dispute. I feel like you guys are in two minds about a situation. There's one thing that looks more tangible, And there's one thing that looks a little bit more like you might be being delusional. But I feel like you're being guided towards your answer. And I think Spirit wants you to do more research, to be curious, to ask questions. Because there needs to be some type of strategy that you formulate. You may have an idea or some type of epiphany about how to move forward in your situation. But I'm not sure if you're fully ready to take those steps. It's like something about it, either you don't trust it or you feel like it may not align with like who you are. Or there could possibly be one of these options that's more in alignment with who you are and one that's less in alignment with who you are, but you're trying not to be judgmental. You're trying to break out of old cycles. It's like if you were picking between two jobs, there could be kind of like those situations where I talked about the actors. I can't remember who they are, but I've talked to you guys before about actors who turn down roles before they have another role, but they turn it down because they know the role is not in alignment with their, intentions and their beliefs and the way they want to be viewed as a performer, right? And people may look at them as stupid for turning down that role, but later on, they get another role that actually ends up being more in alignment for them, more lucrative. Because I think I told you guys about a story of an actor who turned down a role that was like supposed to be really good, or people tried to convince him that that was the best that he was going to get, but the script didn't align with his beliefs, and it was just something that he didn't feel comfortable with. It felt out of alignment with him. So he turned it down. And I think his agent or somebody thought he was crazy. But then later on, he got another role that ended up being a recurring series where it was way more lucrative. He made more money. And it was actually more of a notable project than the one that he turned down. And it's like, giving you that the ick, right? I think there's something here that's kind of concrete or possibly even very guaranteed. And then there's an opportunity that's more whimsical that you can't really hold down or grasp because you're not really sure if it's even real, or you're not sure if it will even amount to anything, or maybe it hasn't even arrived. But in my opinion, that whatever that is more in alignment with you, because whatever you're contemplating doing or not doing right now isn't in alignment with you. So it kind of feels like these oracle cards, to me, if you're trying to make a decision and you feel kind of hopeless, or you feel like you can't win for losing in a situation, be very aware of those base chakra energies, like those lower vibrational energies, your root chakra, your sacral chakra, even your solar plexus, because you could be naively walking into a situation or blindly walking into a situation that leaves you in a position of helplessness when you make a decision from a place of fear or anger or anxiety, or an uneducated decision. I feel like Spirit just wants you to research as much as you can about the situation, because they're guiding you forward. You're being guided towards a job or a work opportunity that you're really going to love, that feels very consistent with who it is that you are. That feels like you would fit right in. It feels like you would consistently be valued and appreciated. And that's what you could be looking for. And I think there could be some things that you're finding that aren't really doing that for you. And you know how sometimes, we talk about love and relationships, and a big thing that I feel like a lot of you guys had to acknowledge and accept is that you were settling for people and situations that were not really what you wanted or kind of beneath you. And I talked to you guys about how rejection can be protection. And there may be times where you have to reject other people because it's just not what you want. And to me, you know, I always tell this to you guys. If it ain't a hell yes, it's a hell no. And I think one of y'all were the first ones to say that in the comments. But if it ain't a hell yes, it's a hell no. And I think that there could be some emotions or feelings that you're questioning because you don't have all the information. The more information that you can get, the better you'll feel, I believe. And if there's like some type of blockage or obstruction when it comes to getting information, you have to figure out, is that calculated? Is that something that someone is doing on purpose? Or is that an energetic synchronicity that spirit is trying to get you to see to let you know that, you know, something may not be in your best interest, okay? What's hidden? Oh, wow, the Emperor. So the person who's in the position of power is hidden. The person who's controlling the situation or making the decision, that's who's hidden. Could be an Aries or a Taurus, hiding information. Strong Taurus with the Seven of Pentacles at the bottom and the Knight of Cups. Who's investing? The investor could be hidden. This could be a silent investor or an angel investor. We had a reading like that recently. Someone could also be ritualistically controlling your feelings or emotions, or wanting to be in a position of power controlling your feelings or emotions. And there's the chessboard reference, the checkerboard floor. Could be some occult shit. But anyway, it kind of feels like there's some type of hidden ritual going on when it comes to controlling emotions. There's a lot of time, energy, money that's been invested into putting someone in a position of power or doing the bidding of a person who's in a position of power. And they have someone speaking for them when it comes to how they feel or what they want to create or how they want things to go. This Emperor is who's hidden. What's the Emperor? For what's hidden. Oh, wow. I didn't even see that. The Moon and the Five of Wands. There's some type of argument, fight, competition, or conflict going on behind the scenes. There's definitely games being played in a situation. And it's behind the scenes. There's some type of animosity or hidden competition going on behind the scenes. I kind of feel, because of what they said about Dougal with this warrior card, Dougal was trying to get everybody on his bandwagon to fight for the Jacobite cause, right? Which historically is a real thing. This show was derived off of real events, but it was through fictional characters, I believe. Some of the characters are actually real people. Some of them are illustrations. But Dougal Mackenzie always tried to get people to align with his cause, and he would often do sneaky, underhanded things to further his cause, regardless of whether or not the individual was aware that that was what he was doing. So, for example, when they went to collect the rent, which was, I think, maybe like the 3rd or 4th episode of Outlander, and they finally started to trust Claire, and Claire and Jamie were getting to know each other a little bit, and they kind of like trapped Claire in the castle. They wouldn't let her go because they didn't believe her story, which is very interesting now that Blood of My Blood has come out, because there's a lot there. But Dougal went around to collect the rent because Colum could not do that type of extreme travel at that time. But while he was collecting the rent, he was using Column and the ability and power that Column gave him to collect the rent to basically, politic for the Jacobite cause to get people to donate money so that they could raise money for weapons for an uprising, right? So he was technically using Column and that excuse to collect the rents to collect that money unbeknownst to Column, right? Which could have gotten the clan in a lot of trouble. He was also using Jamie for his whip back to get people to feel sympathy or to feel emboldened to act because of what the British or the current administration did to Jamie by whipping his back all up. Okay? And it kind of feels like that's what's going on with what's hidden. It kind of feels like there's somebody who's in a position of power who has minions or who has these like people who they use in certain ways as like chess pieces, pawns on a chessboard, so that they can perpetuate or remain in their position of power. And it's like everybody's being used by this person. Nobody's winning in this situation because it's like a crab in a barrel type of situation where everybody's trying to fight to reach this unattainable goal that may not even really be a real goal. It's like someone who's creating fake goals and fake milestones to get people motivated for their cause, but it really, like, those goals and those milestones really don't mean anything. It's just made up. And there's something hidden. There's some type of hidden argument or conflict or issue that I feel like this person is having as the emperor, or that people are starting to have with this way of life, right? So if people who are pawns in this emperor's game, who are being used unbeknownst to them to further the cause of this emperor, they're starting to pick up on the fact that they're being used unbeknownst to them. And they're starting to have an issue with this. But I don't think they're telling you. And I think you feel what's going on. You're kind of like questioning what's going on because you can sense, as the seer, what's going on underneath the surface. You can sense that there's some type of issues or animosity or some type of shit that's rising up to the fan. Okay? Knight of Wands and the Chariot. Fast movement going on. A lot of back and forth. That creates a 6th wand, but it really looks like 4 with this Knight of Wands. There's some type of conflict with a relationship and what someone is doing, the action that someone is taking, where someone is physically going, where they're driving, where they're traveling in their car. Chariot energy. Possibly the actions that could be resulting in some type of legal issues, right? There's someone who's being very impulsive with the Knight of Wands, maybe a little bit reckless, foolishness. They could be very naive. And whatever they're doing, either in your home or when it comes to a connection or relationship that you have behind the scenes, feels like it's creating some type of problems. Knight of Wands, Chariot. What was the other one? It was the Knight of Cups and the 7 of Pentacles. So it's like someone is secretly taking action to cause some type of conflict in a situation, and they're trying not to be recognized, but I feel like they're not really paying attention to the conflict that they're causing or the problems that could arise from the reckless decisions that they're making or the spontaneous choices that they're making without thinking. Someone could be driving very recklessly as well. This is causing an issue with your forward progress. Or this is what's causing an issue when it comes to you making a decision. I feel like someone wants to move forward quickly with something, or maybe someone, Freudian slip. It's like there's a person here. What's hidden is that there's a person who wants to move forward quickly. There's a person who wants things to move quickly, wants things to move fast, wants things to progress forward, maybe wants you to make a decision quickly. But then as soon as you do, it's like things move slow. It's like hurry up and wait type of energy. And I think that's to help you, though. I think that's because Spirit knows that there's a person who wants to rush you. Get you to decide right now, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What I'm going to do is tell you to shut the fuck up so I can think. Damn. It's like quick action. Don't even think about it. Just jump. Just take a risk. There's a lot of that energy that's been coming out lately. And I feel like you're noticing a trend. I feel like you guys are noticing a trend or a pattern. The pattern on the floor. The checkerboard. It's like you're noticing some type of trend or a pattern with this Aries. Possibly a Cancer. Maybe a Leo. It's like an Aries, Taurus, Cancer, maybe Leo energy. Moon is Cancer. Chariot is Cancer. Aries with the Emperor or Taurus with the Emperor. We saw the Knight of Cups, which could be Cancer. The Knight of Wands could definitely be Aries. I also feel you could have a Leo here. But it's like you're starting to notice some type of pattern or trend that someone is trying to hide. Because they don't want you to see the conflict or the issue, or they don't want you to see how they're trying to intertwine you in this competitive energy of what's going on. And it feels very disingenuous. It feels like someone is trying to hide the bumps or bruises or, Lord, I didn't mean to say that, but y'all gotta listen to what I say. It's like someone is trying to hide the true nature of their intentions, and they're trying to hide how divisive something is or how unhappy other people are, as they're now finding out that this is the dynamic of a situation. It's like all of these things. And I kind of feel like there's a repetitive pattern in this situation that could cause some type of destruction or collapse at some point. It's like someone is in control of how fast or slow something progresses. Or they want to be in control of how fast or slow something or someone progresses. And they don't want you to see the cracks in the cement. So they try to do all of these things to play games with you to kind of manipulate your feelings and emotions in the situation. But what you don't know is that somebody secretly is having an issue. This could be somebody competing with you secretly. It feels like an older man with the Emperor. It's an older man that more than likely you've turned your back on. You're very curious about something because of how you feel. I feel like what Spirit is trying to say here is to be very mindful of the decisions that you make right now and the alliances that you connect yourself to. The alliance of Dougal and Column. The alliance of Claire and the seer lady, the Native American. I keep forgetting her name. The alliance of John Gray and Jamie. The alliance of Claire with Galis in the pit. Because when she aligned herself with Galis, that's what got her fucked up for real. That's what got her almost accused and burned at the stake for being a witch. Because she was over there with Galis. And when Jamie left with Dougal, because Dougal got sent away due to Colin finding out that he was trying to get that money for the Jacobite cause when he collected the rent. And he got sent away, and Colin specifically, I feel like Colin set a trap trying to be clever. And Claire got caught in it because Jamie told Claire not to fuck with Gayless. Jamie said, don't go over there around Gayless way. Don't go over there around Gayless way. Don't go to her house. Don't fuck with her like that. Steer clear of her. Because her husband had died. And secretly, there was an alliance between Gayless and Dougal. Because Dougal and Gayless were having an affair. Dougal was married. Gayless was married. They were trying to get rid of their spouses. First, Gayless poisoned her ugly fat husband who had gas and was flatulent all the time. And then Dougal, I think his wife was already dying. But he might have poisoned her and made her have a slow death as well in the show. So it's like, when Colin found out that was going on, just the pure fact that Jamie was always hanging around Dougal, and the fact that Jamie had something to do with Dougal collecting money from his whipped up back, it's like Colin was kind of trying to punish Jamie too, even though he knew Jamie really wasn't like in on it. It's like Colin was trying to lead Jamie down a different path, but he knew that Jamie was different. It's a whole long story, child. But I kind of feel like Colin was trying to punish him as well to get Jamie to understand that if you fool around with Dougal and you align yourself with him, he is going to get you in trouble. And I don't think he was really trying to punish Jamie, but he didn't like the fact also that Claire was so outspoken, and he knew that she was hanging around. Colin knew she was hanging around Gayless, and it was just a lot going on. And all of their stories were kind of intertwined. But Jamie told Claire not to go over there around that way. And she didn't listen. But it was because she was tricked. But at the same time, she still didn't listen. Right? Gayless, lo and behold and lo, was a time traveler as well from the future. But she ended up finagling her way out of that situation. But Jamie came to save Claire. But it's like, I really get this vibe of being mindful of who you partner up with. Be mindful of your partnerships and alliances. Because there's a person here who could either secretly be competing with you for control, or be trying to kind of like sabotage you on the back end. And I feel like you're questioning someone's true intentions towards you and whether or not they're actually loyal, or whether or not they actually have the same mind and intentions about achieving a goal. Because it's like, you don't want to be sabotaged. You don't want the rug to be pulled out from under you. I definitely feel like someone is kind of trying to pull the rug out from under you in one way or another, because it kind of feels like they're fighting to have more attention. They're doing things to conflict with you or contradict with you, or to compete with you so that they're the ones who can have more attention in the situation, because secretly they have some type of competition or animosity towards you. And these emotions are very submerged and pushed down underneath the surface. But because you're the seer, you can see someone's plan before it unfolds. And I also kind of feel like even if this person is competing with you, they might be acting as if they're on your side, but really they're trying to sabotage what you have going on so that what they have going on can be successful, or they're trying to use you as the arbiter of their success. Look at me using new vocabulary words for those of y'all who watch the unboxing. They're trying to use you as the arbiter of their success, but without giving you kind of like the credit. It kind of feels like someone wants you to be one of their minions, or one of their bitches in their harem, or one of their little minions in their coven, you know, to amplify their power, but, you know, diminish or minimize yours. And I would just be very careful of that. And I think you're picking up on it. You feel that you can't be all lovey-dovey and emotional with this person, and it's like you feel like you have to be more wise and strategic in a way, because your spirit team is giving you these light bulb moments of clarity that tell you that someone is not who they appear to be, or that someone's intentions are not what they claim them to be. And I feel like it's because someone is trying to capitalize on a feeling of loss, or trying to capitalize on your loyalty, capitalize on your creativity. It's like some attribute about you that makes you formidable when it comes to bringing them success. It's really about you, because whatever attribute this is that they see in you, they know you can use it to be successful on your own, but they also know that they can use you and those qualities and gifts to create success for themselves. It's not about you. It's not about them helping you get what you want. It's about how can they use you to get what they want. And that's the ritualistic nature of it that kind of is reminiscent of the occult and all of those things that I talked about earlier. So, yeah. It's like somebody making you think that you want what they want so that you can help them facilitate their goals unbeknownst to you. What's the advice for Pisces? 3 of Wands. I think you've made your decision. Be mindful of your expectations of yourself and others, what you agree to, what you promise, what you commit to. Because I think that someone is trying to get you to commit to something so that you can't back out by setting a certain expectation that won't be fulfilled in the way that it's advertised. But honestly, you can make whatever decision you want to. You may have to take a loss if you've already committed to something, but it's okay. At the bottom, High Priestess, Seer, period, and the Page of Wands, your intuition is about to be confirmed about someone's expectations of you, or about how something is going to move forward, how something is going to progress. You're about to get a sign or a message or an intuitive synchronicity that lets you know that you knew what was going on all along. It's like you feel something is going on and you don't really have all the evidence to support it, and you're not really sure if you're right. Okay? But you know something is going on. And I feel like your advice is to follow your intuition, because even though your eyes may be closed, or you may feel like you're blindfolded to a source, energy, whatever, to the situation, you can actually see through the blindfold, or you can see through those closed eyes. And I always see the eyes as open, but you can look at it in a way where they do look closed. It's like, even though you don't have all the information, even though your eyes are metaphorically, proverbially closed, because someone could be hiding information or not giving you all the details, you can see what's actually going on. And your intuition, I feel, in time will be confirmed. Possibly in 3 days, 4 days for some of you. Possibly in 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It's been 3 weeks. You're going to get the confirmation, or you're going to get the final message now. Okay? Your intuition is telling you to be excited about something in the future that you're very passionate about, that feels more like home to you, that feels more authentic to who you truly are, like we talked about earlier. They want you to follow that. There is a secret here. And as time progresses, that secret will come out. But you feel what it is. You may not be able to say exactly what it is, but you can feel it. What's the 3 of Wands? Spirit is telling you to follow that. 4 of Wands, see what I'm saying? Things are about to move really quickly for you, Pisces. And I really feel that there's this excitement and celebration that is in store for you. You're going to accomplish something and then move forward towards something else. And on the outside looking in, it may look like a downgrade, or it may look like some type of regression, but really it's progression. Some of you could be walking away from a relationship or walking away from an established situation. You're walking away before the lights come on in the club because you know the lights about to come on in the club. You know? It's kind of like somebody stepping down from a position of power before they become old, senile, and have dementia. It's like, I'm going to step down now, or I'm going to bow out while I'm ahead so that I don't embarrass myself kind of energy. There's some type of celebration, party, accomplishment that you're connected to, but you're not actually connected to. Like, you don't feel a connection to this relationship or this group or this celebration. You don't feel like you're a part of the party. This could be on purpose. Like, you could be seeing signs of a certain type of treatment from someone, and that gives you everything you need to know about how things will progress in the future, right? Like, if you're in a relationship with somebody or you're dating someone and they like to party all the time and drink and they're very excessive with their behavior, you may be like, okay, I see where this is going. Okay, seer. I see where this is going, and this just doesn't seem to align with me. And I think you guys are making a decision to disconnect to something because you're not even really that involved, or you're not even really that invested in it anyway. Two of Cups. King of Cups. Wow. You could be walking away from a business partnership, a relationship, a job, a networking connection. You may be turning down a job offer. You could be turning down some type of opportunity. But it's just because it's not going to fulfill you. It's not as bountiful or exciting or as fulfilling as someone is trying to convince you it is, possibly. Or you know that there's some type of mismatch when it comes to alignment. Like, you know that you would be being delusional if you married this person, or you would be being delusional if you took this job, or you would, it's like there's some type of, like, there's this, I feel like this is your advice because Spirit kind of wants you to think about this when it comes to making your decision. If you imagine yourself doing this every single day, like, if you could only do one thing every single day until the day that you die, would this be it? If you could only be with someone, if you could only be with this person every day for the rest of your life, would you do it? Would this be the person that you could see yourself waking up next to every day, growing old with, cooking dinner for, going out to events with, celebrating life with? Is this the person who you could see yourself doing that with for the rest of your life? And if the answer is no, or I'm not sure, like I said, if it ain't a hell yes, it's a hell no, then that's what Spirit is trying to tell you. Because that's your intuition telling you, like, hey, this may not be, this may not be it. Because I feel like you can see the downfall of something. You can see how something may progress. You can see that there's like this, I don't know, someone may even be trying to revive the dead or bring back the dead. This could be somebody coming back from your past, wanting to reconcile with you. And it's like you ask yourself these things, and I feel like a lot of you guys are realizing that there would have to be some type of illusion that you create for yourself to make that work. You would have to fake it. You would have to act like you were happy. You would have to pretend as if you were fulfilled. And that's why you're going to walk away from this situation, because you would rather be in a situation that actually feels real than a situation that feels like an illusion. And I think that's what your spirit team is telling you. Even if it means that you're going against the grain of a group. Because there's 3 cups here. There's 4 wands there. And then you have the 8 of cups plus 2 of cups. That's 10 cups. Ace of cups would be the king. We have that out here. And the 5 of wands could indicate a group as well. So it's like you may be going against the group or your family or, you know, your friends or people who are colleagues, whatever the situation is. But it's like you are just not the person who can fake anything. I'm telling you right now, like even me, that's why I tell you guys, like, you can believe me or you don't have to believe me. You can listen to me or you don't have to listen to me. I'd rather you listen to yourself. And if my guidance helps to confirm your initial intuition, then cool. But I cannot, I don't have a fake bone in my body. The only way that I can be a little bit elusive or mysterious or what people may conceive as fake is if I'm trying to spare your feelings. Cause if I say it the way, cause you might think I'm being fake, but it's really because I'm trying to spare your little raggedy ass feelings. And if I say it how I really wanted to say it, you would be running to the damn crazy house. You would be running to what's that website called? BetterHelp, to get a therapist, because your fucking feelings would be hurt if I really said it how I wanted to say it to your bitch ass. And I've had to learn that sometimes you just can't say exactly what you feel, or you just can't say it exactly how you want to say it, because everybody is not ready for that. And there's some folks out here that's crazy. So from that standpoint and my intuition in this situation, I feel in your heart of hearts that you know that you want something else other than this. And that if you took this opportunity, you would be settling. And I think that feeling not only coincides with a protection that your spirit team has for you, but also the intuitive sixth sense that you feel of someone possibly not having good intentions for you when it comes to this situation. So you being unhappy or you knowing that you would have to fake it with someone is a sign not only that it's not right for you, but it's kind of like an answer or a confirmation to what you would expect to happen in the future based on how you feel when it comes to the dynamics of the situation now. All right. Beep, beep. Who got the keys to my Jeep? Car starting. I'm just saying, y'all. That's what I feel. Let's get advice for Pisces Spirit. What is the advice when it comes to this message? Protection, Guardian. Look at that. Drop your shields. You have protection. You don't have to feel defensive or, extra aggressive in this situation, because that may lead you to do something foolish or stupid. You're being protected. At the bottom, you have Shapeshifter. Transform and unveil your gifts. I feel like Spirit is protecting you, from shapeshifters. And Wise One, grow within your current situation. Okay. That's interesting. We rarely get that shapeshifter card. Yes, Snowflake, I'm almost done. So Shapeshifter says, transform and unveil your gifts. The message is take your time and focus on developing your gifts and strengths. We are going to do a strengths versus weaknesses reading soon, members. Okay. In shamanic traditions, a shapeshifter is either an animal that has the capacity to change between species, or a shaman who has the capacity to transform into an animal to go journeying. Interesting. Kind of like on Game of Thrones, the little boy that got pushed out the window. If there's a wild animal you are particularly drawn to or fascinated by, it's probably because you can transform into one in your meditation or journeying practice to go exploring in other worlds. With your when you shift, into animal form, you can see the world through different eyes and tap into the animal's survival skills to help yourself through a particular situation. Okay? Now, the extended message says, you may have been through many challenges and lows, but now you are in a space of transformation. You are moving beyond your past challenges and honoring your current strength. There are opportunities for you to discover and rediscover the gifts and talents that you were born with and born to share. We had that reading where the born witch came out. Okay? Certain set of skills and abilities. Also, Jason Bourne, wasn't that a movie? All of your past experiences have only helped you see how strong you really are. You are an amazing soul who can change and transform in ways that people least expect. You have many talents that you will share in your lifetime. You are guided to stay focused on the light, knowing that it will guide you forward. When this card arrives, there's also an opportunity for you to tap into power of your spirit animal. Note if you're seeing a particular animal regularly because its medicine is coming to you. It's cats for me. Big and small cats. There's one sleeping on the floor right there. One that just came out the closet meowing. And she's right there. You could probably see her stretching in the crystal ball. I don't know if you can, but she's walking over back to the closet. That's Snowflake meowing. She's always the one who's over here participating. Partipper-dap. And then there's Cosmo on the floor, my black cat. He's security. Okay, because he don't play about me. If you come close to me, he's guarding me everywhere I go. If you come close to me, he will tear your monkey ass up. And then you got Pumpkin over there. She's a little fat. She the baby. She's on the bed. I think that she's supposed to kind of like be the student of Snowflake. Okay. And then, kind of like she's entertainment. She's like the baby. And then Percy is in my spot on the bed because every time I sleep or lay down, he want to sleep in my spot after I get up. But he's also a little bit aggressive at times, but he's more like peaceful, calm. He's kind of like the granddad of the group. He want everybody to get along, but he's also want his space, He like to just exist and, do what he likes to do. But he is super sweet, and whenever there's a problem, he's trying to see about it. And today, I was taking my son to his meeting, and we saw a black cat, which I feel like was a boy. Then we saw a big orange cat who looked like the big orange muscle cat in my old neighborhood. And then we saw 2 girl cats on the other side, and I'm like, it's just cats everywhere, child. My whole life, I've been surrounded by cats. So it's like those are the type of thing you don't have to think real hard about it. Spirit is telling you, you don't have to think real hard about it. This is something that you are already going to feel and know that's going on. And I think, they want you to pay attention to it now because whatever this animal is like they said, okay, their medicine is coming to you. They're going to bring you some type of wisdom. They're going to bring you some type of clarity to understand what's going on in the situation so that you can be protected, okay? Now with this protection guardian, y'all please be sure to like the video. Please like the video, you guys. Let's give equal reciprocated energy, okay? I really appreciate it. Thank you. Now, the protection guardian says, drop your shields. The message is drop any shields of shame, resistance, and fear that are standing between you and your chances of enjoyment and fun. Know that you don't need to hide who you are or the gifts that you have. You were born to shine. Now, the protection guardian is a feminine version of Archangel Michael, which we have been getting lately a lot. And Archangel Michael is connected to your base or root chakra. The red, okay? She is a fierce, protective, yet loving warrior angel who carries an indestructible shield of power and protection and will come to all who call on her. She will help you drop your fear-based shields and move into a loving, protective force field that will keep you safe, but will allow your gifts to shine out. Synchronicity. Unity. Okay. Although she is here to guard you from lower energies, which I talked about, she is completely relaxed and serene and confident because she trusts that love will always prevail, right? Extended message. You may have encountered shame or embarrassment in your past, but that is not your present. And I'm going to add, that's not your future. Angels are drawing close at this time to help you move beyond any limiting thoughts, emotions, and patterns that may be making you feel unsafe. Know that angelic protection is swirling around you at this moment and will help you move forward in a more fearless way. Because that's kind of what it's like. What Dougal was doing with Jamie and his whipped up back was definitely to cause fear in the hearts of the community. And he also tried to create fear in Jamie to blackmail him into letting him be used for his nefarious endeavors. And it kind of has been a theme in a lot of the readings. If you guys have noticed, let me know in the comments. But there's been this overarching theme of like fear mongering and hate speech, whatever you want to call it, fear mongering, people, manipulating the energy to get a certain result, rage bait type of energy, that type of stuff has been a constant, consistent theme, not only in these readings, but in a lot of the situations that we see unfolding in our everyday lives. And I really feel that what Spirit is trying to get you guys to see, and what you already know, is that it's a tactic to trigger your emotions, to get you to feel as if you align with the cause that said individual is propagating, if that's the right word. I don't know. And that's what they're trying to help you avoid against, because they don't want you to be at one of these parties or these rallies or these places where, there could be any Tom, Dick, Harry, Sam, Sue, or Bob who decides that they want to shoot the bitch up. Or have you in a position where you are feeling emboldened to do such things and commit such atrocities. It's like they want you to have your own fucking mind. Because there's a lot of manipulation and there's a lot of things going on that are attempting to get you in a position where you relinquish authority over your own mind, your own heart, your own feelings, and your own actions ultimately. Now, again, you may have encountered shame or embarrassment in your past, but that is not your present. Angels are drawing close at this time to help you move beyond any limiting thoughts, emotions, and patterns. We said patterns that may be making you feel unsafe. I talked about noticing the signs or the patterns, okay? Know that angelic protection is swirling around you at this moment and will help you move forward in a more fearless way. Call on your guides for help in changing your frequency so you can feel safe and protected at this time. You are stronger than you think, and your angels and ancestor guides are here to help you realize this now. Period. End of sentence, bitch. Because there's a shapeshifter. There's shapeshifter energy around. Because we have to always understand the dualistic nature of this energy and of these messages. Not only can you shapeshift and you have access to those abilities through spirit animals, but you also have to realize that other people have access to that as well. And they may not be using it for, good reasons. So there could possibly be a lot of shapeshifters around who are kind of like, what's the word? It's like they're kind of like poachers who want to pluck your gifts in a way. Okay. Now the final card is Wise One. And we're going to look at that to get the summation of the messages. Now, the Wise One says, grow within your current situation. The message is knuckle down, be reliable and committed. Be open to wisdom and insights from your elders. Okay. Now, The wise one represents the wisest aspect of the goddess, the crone. In paganism, the modern Wicca, the crone, is the fiercest, most psychic, and most aware aspect of the goddess because she has been through many of life's challenges and overcome many setbacks. So the maiden, what is it? Maiden mother crone. I think that's what it is. The different cycles, feminine energy. Okay, so she's been through many of life's challenges and overcome many setbacks. Okay. On this card, the raven in her hands represents the capacity to overcome the darkest times and be reborn again and again. So she helps you to tap into wisdom to overcome whatever life throws at you. Wisdom being the information stored in your soul rather than the knowledge acquired in this lifetime, and to learn from the experience of your elders. And remember when I was telling you guys earlier about how you may read things or research information, but you feel like you didn't know about it in your conscious awareness, but you felt a connection to it in your subconscious. And it's kind of like you already knew those things, but you were just reminding yourself or reclaiming, or not reclaiming, but kind of like reacclimating yourself to the information. That's what this gives with this card. Extended message says the wisdom of the wise one is based on something that the younger generation is often lacking: commitment and reliability. When this card appears, you are being guided to continue working on your growth and expansion within your current situation. Be committed to your tasks and projects. It can be very easy to get bored or overwhelmed, but persevere. You are being reminded of how it feels to be let down and experience unreliability, and that is not who you were born to be. So keep working on what you're working on because it's going to be extremely beneficial for you in the long run. Okay? So it kind of just feels like anyone who's trying to trigger those emotions that you have into making certain decisions and, kind of lead you astray when it comes to what your intuition is telling you, or anyone who is proclaiming to know what is the right decision or the right path to choose, and that goes against what you feel intuitively. This message is like basically Spirit's way of confirming to you that you have this ability. We saw the High Priestess. We have the Seer card. We also have the Wise One. All of these cards that are kind of like indicative of foresight and higher knowledge and being able to see the invisible aspects of a situation that other people don't pay attention to, having a different perspective because of your experiences. Queen of Swords. All of those things are things that you have to make sure that you protect by not allowing people to trigger you into saying things or doing things or feeling things or thinking things that are foreign or inauthentic to who you really are. Even if that means that you have to go against a large crowd or stand up against a large crowd, you have to know that you're going to be protected in any situation. And I really feel like you guys can tell that there's a decision here that may look good on the surface, but underneath the surface is not as good as it seems. Or there's a person here that you can feel or sense is manipulating people. There's a situation where you don't trust fully what's going on and where something is better in the future for you, or that doing something a different way, doing something your own way, following your intuition is a better choice, even if there's no solid concrete evidence that this is the right thing for you to be doing. And I'm here to tell you that you need to follow that. You need to follow that nudge and that inkling that going with your intuition is the better choice. And I know it's very hard, and I know there's a lot of like indecisive moments that you may have. Try not to be in analysis paralysis. Do your best. I'll say do your best not to be in analysis paralysis. Do your best to really watch your words and your thoughts. Do your best to make a choice and stick with it. Do your best to pay attention to the signs and synchronicities and to understand that nothing is a coincidence so that you can take the steps that you need to take. Do your best to just at least take one step at a time. That's what I'm doing here, sitting here with you guys on Saturday night at almost 9:45 p.m. Because I am exhausted. I am tired. I'm tired of continuing to carry this torch, carry this baton, and there's no end in sight. I am exhausted. I am completely perturbed with the whole situation. But every time I feel like I'm ready to stop or give up or throw in the towel with whatever it is, whether it's these channels, my business, raising my children, getting out the bed every day, whatever it is, even when I feel like I'm at my wit's end and I'm ready to give up, for some reason I don't give up. And that's what this Abyss card was talking about with Jamie on that battlefield. It's like there's something within you that just refuses to allow you to give up. Harness that. Figure out where it's stemming from so that you can connect the dots and see where you're really meant to be. Because whatever that is the feeling that you feel when you know that you're meant to do something, or when you know that you're meant to be aligned in a certain area of your life. Because until you reach that alignment, your soul will not rest. And that is where that determination comes from. And if I had to choose, I would do this for the rest of my life every day. This is the only job that I've ever found in my life where I feel like I could do it for the rest of my life. Because everything else kind of sucks ass at this point. But that's just me. And you may have those gifts and abilities with something that you do where you feel that way about what it is that you do. But that's what Spirit is telling you to find and to follow. And they want you to trust that throughout that process, you have the protection of your spirit team, of God, Source. Because whatever it is that is calling to you is something that's important for not only you, but for all of the rest of us that are in the collective. And that's what I feel. So I hope that helped you guys. Be sure to check out the unboxing of this beautiful Outlander deck. If there's any people from Outlander who are listening, or any people who have decks that they want me to unbox, get in contact with me, child. If you want to send me a deck, because then I can share with you my P.O. box. I'm not going to share it with everyone publicly, y'all, because it's not for everyone. But if there's anything that you want to send me, please reach out and let me know. If there's any decks you want me to review or that you want me to use to read and you want to send them to me, reach out to me by email and let me know. But I hope this message helped you guys, Pisces. I appreciate all of you. I love you guys. I really do. And even though I don't know you guys, everything that I do on this channel when it comes to delivering messages or bringing entertainment is because I love you and because I want you guys to find the clarity that you need in your lives so that you won't get swept up and swallowed up in all this BS. Okay? So do me a favor and like the video, leave me a comment, and if you feel so inclined, send me a donation, you guys. It is really helpful. PayPal, Venmo, Zelle is below if you want to book a reading. That link is below as well. And remember, Pisces, this is our circle, booze. Bye.